There's something wrong somewhere. Though Saudi Arabia has come through with a hefty package, and though China is expected to follow up with one of its own, as is Malaysia, the electricity tariff was still raised. Was that hike a condition set by Saudi Arabia, or was it part of the preparation for the IMF package? One of the prospects raised is that the Saudi and Chinese packages might be part of the preparations for the IMF package. Read more. Suarez hits hat-trick as Barcelona blow away Madrid. Imran Khan made a speech to the nation which showed that the office of Prime Minister had changed. The spirit of the speeches every night from the container was there, the same tirade against corruption, this time with the promise that there would be no NRO. However, he added a new element, and I'm not talking about the playing of the national anthem. The tabdili now included a promise of inflation. Of course, it was caused by the corrupt rulers of the past. It seems corruption always wins. Whether we have Naya Pakistan or Purana, it seems that prices will go up. We were assured that this was the last bout of inflation we would face, but this contradicts what was implied in the container speeches, that once the corrupt were replaced by the honest, there would be no more inflation. Didn't selling all those buffaloes make a difference? It was perhaps inevitable that the package coming at the time when the Saudis not only promised Pakistan money, but also admitted that Jamal Khashoggi had been killed in the Saudis' Istanbul consulate, should provoke questions about the two being linked. Well, to be frank, the Saudi claim that Khashoggi was killed during a brawl only raises more questions. For one, how does a brawl get started in a diplomatic mission? Like others, Saudi diplomats would be very polite and finicky about their clothes. For another, where's the body? For a third, I suppose I could go on, but apart from casting aspersions on a fine body of men, Saudi diplomats, I don't see what purpose would be served. Suffice it to say that even U.S. President Donald Trump has called the story a bad cover-up. Imran has merely proved that he's even dumber. In fact, the pictures of him and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman seem to show him teaching him the art of in-swinging Yorkers. Now that is a dream team for you, Trump, Imran and MBS. Intellectual giants, all three of them. Read more. Federer claims 99th ATP title with Basel triumph. Trump probably has problems of his own right now, caused by the pipe bombs that were posted to a wide assortment of his opponents. No, I don't mean he's worried why a single bomb did not go off. What must have him more concerned is that the perpetrator seems Hispanic, Cesar Sayoc, who was arrested from Florida, though born in Brooklyn. Now, as everyone who has seen the remake of Scarface, with Al Pacino as the title character, Florida is where Hispanics are, as well as cocaine. Obviously a Democrat, because none of the Trump opponents he targeted, including luminaries like Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Congresswoman Maxine Walters, Robert De Niro and George Soros, died. Though like Trump a New Yorker, this spick must have pretended to be a Republican to attack these people and create a Democratic sympathy vote in next month's elections. Of course, Indians have shown themselves more efficient at this sort of thing. If Indians had been in charge of this operation, at least some targets would have died. Look at the efficiency with which a little boy was decapitated in Bolinger, a district in Odisha state, as a sacrifice to the goddess Durga. Well, religion will make people do almost anything. After all, women were not allowed to enter the Sabarimala temple in Nikkal, Kerala, even though the Supreme Court had overturned the ban on menstruating women. The Indian Supreme Court is active on this front, for it had not only allowed women into the Shani Shingnapur temple in Maharashtra, but also the Darga Alley in Mumbai. While the first would have greatly displeased the BJP, the second must have pleased it. While it has left Hindu place names intact, it seems to be bent on changing Muslim names, the latest example being the change of the name of Allahabad to Prayagraj, because it is at the confluence of the Ganga, Jamuna and Saraswati. All three are the names of Hindu gods. There is no proposal for the change of their names. It is worth noting that the UP cabinet which made this decision is headed by a Swami Adityanath of the BJP. What would have also worried Trump was the killing of 10 members of the congregation at a Pittsburgh synagogue on Saturday. The attacker shouted anti-Semitic slurs while loosing off his AK-47. He was a white man, and he didn't shout Allahu Akbar, so he probably didn't fit the profile of a Muslim with mental problems, but he did have a beard. There was also nothing to indicate that he was from Mexico. Another white man in action killed 2 African Americans at a Kentucky supermarket after failing to get entry to a black church nearby. Jews and African Americans. The people hated by white supremacists, who voted for Trump as he was the lesser of the evils, and even though he has a Jewish son-in-law, whom he has put in charge of solving the Palestinian problem. Of course, that's a tougher problem than the one solved in KP by the PTI government there, which exempted Sikhs from the compulsory helmet rule for motorcyclists. The theory is that the Sikh kesh will prevent any head injury. The theory that there is nothing to injure doesn't apply to KP Sikhs, who are strikingly brilliant. Page 2. There is fear among political society that the 18th Amendment to the Constitution, a piece of landmark legislation which lent greater autonomy to the provinces and divested the president of all his executive authority, might be rolled back. The trepidation has been furthered by former President Asif Ali Zardari, who recently stated that he is being attacked from all sides as part of a larger conspiracy to reverse the 18th Amendment, which is often seen by many as an important cornerstone for democracy in Pakistan. Read more. Suarez hits hat-trick as Barcelona blow away Madrid. The debate over a potential repeal of the 18th Amendment is missing some key questions. Most importantly, why shouldn't there be repeal? With so much fear-mongering and conflating rollback of the amendment with rollback of democracy, it has been impossible to have a discussion on the benefits and disadvantages of the amendment. The fact is that legislation, like human beings, is not perfect, and need to improve and adapt with the passage of time. It is indeed true that the 18th Amendment was an extraordinary accomplishment of the Pakistan People's Party (PPP), which has done great favors in safeguarding Pakistan's often fragile democracy. However, talk of repealing or at least reforming the 18th Amendment does not mean allowing strands of dictatorship to slip in. The clauses of the 18th Amendment which take away the power of a president to declare emergency unilaterally, have been imperative in the successful transition of democracy and must still be held in place. However, some aspects of the 18th Amendment have proven to be more problematic than beneficial. Most glaring of those is the NFC award, and the abolishment of the concurrent legislative list. With the deletion of the concurrent legislative list, the federal government has lost its power to legislate for the entire country, as the said powers would have devolved to the provinces, which in hindsight has led to the county missing out on adopting uniform and impactful legislation, especially when it comes to health, human rights, and education sectors. The NFC award has also proven to be a menace to navigate through for finance ministers who find themselves helpless to allocate the budget properly due to the provincial limitations placed on them. The 18th Amendment, while historical for Pakistan, isn't holy scripture, and if certain parts of it are withholding the government from functioning properly, then it should be reformed. Or at the very least, a debate on it in the parliament would not be a bad idea.